No Macon Aldridge?
Huh?
No Macon Aldridge?
No, not in my 18.
I'd have Zane Pinnock, Brian Burkett on another wing, and Macon Aldridge and Dijon Richards, as my two forwards. Welcome, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Jerome.
I'm Rush.
And this is This or That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting, and riveting sports topics, discussions, and debates on the internet.
Yes, people, before we get into today's video, don't forget to like this one. Leave a comment under the video and subscribe to This or That Sports TV. People, I know you guys are going to like this one. This is the video where we present to you our all-manning team of the quarterfinals.
Yes.
So, yeah, walk through the criteria for the players that will make this team.
And reiterate it too. First and foremost, this is our all-man. This is me and Rush's, all-manning. Mine and Rush's. They're two different teams. Quarterfinal team. At the end of the season, we will have our consensus This or That Sports TV all-manning cup team that we will present, in a more formal award type setting. Mm-hmm. But right now, this was just me and Rush. I'm telling you people who we believe deserves to make the quarterfinal team of the season. And the criteria for this is basically the player's performance in the quarterfinal that will be taken heavily into consideration, but we also have to consider how good a player is and their pedigree coming into the quarterfinals. But alas, it's a quarterfinal all-star team basically, so we have to take that into account, I think, more heavily.
Here we go. Let's get right into it. Let's start with, you want me to name my team and then you speak about your team, or you want to go player for player, position for position?
You can name your team. People, this is a full squad, so we do start
18 players
and
match
then
card
substitute 7.
Alright?
Yeah.
Alright. So let's start with at the goalkeeper position. I have Akeem Bernard from Mona High School. I think he really shown this season that I am not just a regular goalkeeper. I can kick this ball, I can pass this ball, I can, shot block. A really, really good goalkeeper. And I have to have Akeem Bernard as my best goalkeeper in the Manning Cup so far. But the right back,
quarterfinals.
Of the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But what I said a while ago still stands.
Yeah.
At the right back position, I'm going to have Kimani Reese of Kingston College. They're number 7. Providing them an attacking outlet, and he's solid defensively, so I have to go with him. At the centre back positions, I'm going to have Donhue Mitchell of Mona High School. I think that speaks for itself. Solid defender. And Romain Blake of Jamaica College. Another solid defender. I think those are the two best defenders in this part of the competition. My left back, I'm going to go the stats captain, Richard Livingston. Feel like what he offers offensively is, he gives a great contribution to what the stats team does when they're going forward. Defensively, he's really solid, so that's my back line. My midfield, I'm going with a midfield 3 of Samuel Shakes from Kingston College, Saviola Blake, the number 23 from Jamaica College, and Denzel Washington Mackenzie from Mona High School. Feel like that's a really good midfield. Saviola Blake, 22, is a defensive midfielder. He will sit in that midfield. Samuel Shakes, box to box, offers a lot of attacking wise, and takes the ball out of the defense and transition it to the next phase of the field. Denzel Washington, speaks for himself. His technical ability could offer this team a lot. His creativity, his vision, I really admire it. On the right wing or the left wing, I would have Zane Pinnock, starman for Mona High School. Whisper as my number 9, and Kishian Gordon as my left wing or my left attacker. So yeah, Kishian Gordon of Mona High School, really, really good player. I've been impressed every single time I watch this player. So I have to have him in my team of the quarters. On my bench, I have Rosico Rose, the Jamaica College goalkeeper. Blaine Byam of Kingston College. Xavier Davidson of Jamaica College, the captain. Shaquan Satchwell of Stats, really, really good player. Brian Burkett of St. George's College. Nashard Gibbs, making a late surge in the Manning Cup and really showing his quality of Kingston College. And Marion Thomas. I've been impressed with that player every time I watch him for Mona High School. So that's my 18. People tell me, how do you feel about this team?
No Macon Aldridge?
Huh?
No Macon Aldridge?
No, not in my 18.
So I got 2 modern matches in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. It was out of
And Shane Gordon didn't even play all the matches and didn't get one man of the match.
yeah, but the quarters is obviously what we're taking into consideration. But we have to talk about the quality of the player and the whole Manning Cup. So that's my team.
Yeah, but if we are talking about players coming in with like pedigree, McConnell should have come into Man Cup and one of the best players regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yeah, people. My team, obviously, I believe that I wanted to utilize the talent more rather than attempt to be conventional with the type of position. As a manager, you have to take the talent that you have and put in the best position that suits your team. So I went with an unconventional 3-3-4 formation because all the rage was in the attacking players this season. So I started in goal, with my colleague, and I agreed that Akeem Bernard, he really demonstrated his prowess. He started slowly in the first round, and we weren't sure about him, in the beginning of the first round. But ultimately, he showed that he really did deserve to be where he is right now as a goalkeeper playing in the semi-finals as one of the best goalkeepers in the Man Cup thus far. My three central defenders, would be Romain Blake, Donhue Mitchell, and Blaine Byam. All three of these defenders, are extremely versatile. Donhue Mitchell and Blake especially are very, very mobile. They can move very well, and I think they will provide good coverage all the way through the back. And Blaine Byam, very good at his feet. All three of these defenders are very good technically, and that's the three central defenders I would use. In my central midfield, because of how solid my backline is, I wouldn't necessarily use an out-and-out 6, but I would use Shakes and Romarion Thomas. That's the guy they call Conte. And Samuel Shakes, the Kingston College central midfielder, number 8, as my two holding midfielders, and I use Kevon Wilson as my attacking midfielder. Once again, people, this was an individual who received a Man of the Match award in the quarterfinals, and we've seen him play outstandingly all through the Manning Cup, and there's no way that I can have an all Manning team and all Manning quarterfinal team and not have Kevon Wilson in it. And I have him as my starting attacking midfielder today. And then my attacking 4 players would include Zane Pinnock on one wing, Brian Burkett on another wing, and I'd have Zane Pinnock, Brian Burkett on another wing, and Makwan Aldridge and Dejan Richards, as my two forwards. The dynamic nature of this team would allow Makwan Aldridge to fall back in the midfield to play alongside with Wilson in a box or play the number 9 as we saw him play against Stats, which he was absolutely amazing. And we already know Brian Burkett and his class and what he has to offer, so he has to make the team. And my subs would be Rosica Rose, the Jamaica College goalkeeper, absolutely underrated player. Every time he's been called into action, he's made good, and he's the best goalkeeper on his feet in the whole Manning Cup, hands down. Alex Xavier Gooden, another St. Andrew technical player, your centre back. He wears the captain armband when Satchel is hurt, which Satchel has been for a few games.
Livingston.
He wears the armband when Livingston is hurt, and Livingston have been a few games hurt in this quarterfinal round, which is why he couldn't have made my team because he didn't play that much. Gooden, outstanding centre back. I was itching to put Gooden instead of Blaine Byam. That's how highly I rate this centre back. Very good for this stats team. One of the reasons why stats are doing as well as they are. But he barely missed out to Blaine Byam as one of my centre backs. Xavier Davidson, another one that was so hard to leave out. He's an outstanding player, and he has to make any all Manning Cup team regardless of the round. Starting with my reserve midfielders, and I have Denzel Washington Mackenzie, the most technically gifted player in this Manning Cup, I think. And it was between him and Wilson, but Denzel Washington Mackenzie missed a match in the quarterfinal. Wilson played all matches. Wilson got a man of the match. I had to give Wilson that start in the game based on the fact that it's a quarterfinal all team. But Denzel Washington Mackenzie, I think, is a better player. Saviola Blake, a central midfielder, just in case the team needs some dynamic element, and also because he's just one of JC's outstanding players and really pivotal, being in the heart of their team, and has proven himself and definitely deserves to be in this team. Now, Shardo Gibbs, man, he's an absolute baller, and he has to make any Manning Cup team hands down. No explanations needed. And my last attacker, Shakon Satchel, probably the best player in the Manning Cup. you know, he's definitely up for the debate. You know, he missed one game due to suspension, and probably that's why he didn't make my starting team over Brian Burkett. But Saquon Satchel is somebody really, really outstanding, and that rounds out my 18.
Yeah, let's speak about some of these players and their impact to their team. Speak about Akeem Bernard and what he offers to that Mona High School team. I feel like his kicking ability give them so much more, especially when they're, you know, Mona has a tendency to play one or two of their defenders as forwards. And when Akeem Bernard can ping that ball and put it right on the forward head, we see it even against Kingston College, where Brown will just be flicking on balls. You know, when Bernard can just find him. I feel like he offers a lot to them in that aspect. He's also a really good shot stopper. You know, we've seen him called upon in a few occasions in the quarterfinals, and I feel like him being in that Mona High School goal really gives that backline some confidence, and even Craig Butler to play with less than 4 defenders, because we see a lot of the times him playing with 3 defenders and not even having wing backs, just a lot of attacking rotations, as I've said in a lot of videos. So yeah, I feel like Akeem Bernard really offers his team a lot.
And Blaine Byam spoke about it in the KC versus Mona face-off top of the table clash, where he said because of Akeem Bernard, you know, they had to be starting their defensive line so deep, and it forced them to start deep, as I just said, and it allowed Mona to provide. It allowed Mona to fill the midfield first and foremost, and then pressure them. And the closer defender is to his goalkeeper, the worse it is for him and his goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And we saw that challenge today, or we saw that challenge in the match, Mona versus KC, top of the table quarterfinal group clash. We saw that being posed as a huge threat to Kingston College. So Akeem Bernard definitely so dynamic, you know, so versatile, and his ability to keep goal, which is what really matters at the end of the day, I think is just as good as anybody else.
Yeah, a player that I have to mention is Xavier Davids. Not in my starting lineup for this team, but I feel like he's a really good player. You know, he is tidy. You know, he gets the job done. You know, he leads his JC teammates well. I feel like he's very dependable, and he communicates well on the field. I like what he offers. Obviously, Romy Blake is the star of the back line, but I feel like the partnership that they have is something to speak about, and what Xavier Davids offers to that JC team, I really like it. I like what he brings to the team.
Yeah, he's a composed player. He's a very good leader, and I barely missed out on my back 3. You know, Byam pretty much offers the same type of thing, you know, as you get from Davidson, and I think it's a flip of the coin between those two. Both impactful players, both solid leaders, and both playing pivotal parts in their team advancing to the semi-finals.
Mm-hmm. Which player would you want to talk about and their impact to their team?
Samuel Shakes, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I think we both had Samuel Shakes in our starting team. He's been absolutely outstanding, and he's somebody indispensable for this Kingston College team. You know, Raymond Watson alluded to him saying that he is in fact the most important player on their team. You know, some would argue with that statement. However, it's not far-fetched. It's not an outlandish statement. I can clearly see why he'd make such an assertion, because Samuel Shakes is so versatile. He tackles, he plays hard, he runs hard, he passes well, and he's always in the right position, and he always makes the right decisions. So that's why he has to be in this team, and I think that's why he's one of our consensus players.
Yeah. Another player I want to mention from the Kingston College team is Kimani Reese. The man they call Beckham, wearing the number 7 on from that right back position. Even against Mona High School, I saw him playing in the midfield. You know, towards the latter part of the game, he was playing. He went back to his right back position, but you know, I like what I saw from him as an attacking outlet. He's really good. You know, he combines with Dujan Richards very well. And I think Kingston College should be able to have a player like this, you know, that can defend and offers just as much going forward.
An outstanding player, Reese is, you know, the reason why he was omitted from my team is because I definitely do believe that the likes of Xavier Davidson and Alex Xavier Gooden were just more impactful to their team, and at this point in time are better players than him right now. He's a young player, and he will continue to grow and will indeed be one of the best players in Manning Cup. But as I said, I'm considering that, you know, we were given such a wide array of talent, you know, to pick the best defenders out of it. I just don't think Reese would have made it in my best defenders, which is why he was omitted, but an exceptional talent. Mm-hmm. And Denzel Washington McKenzie, you had him starting, you know, I had him on the bench. I think, as I said before, the most technical player in the Manning Cup. You know, I had Kevin Wilson, but I think Washington is a bit better, but considering that this is a quarterfinal team, I decided to give Wilson not playing outstanding games after outstanding games from Kingston College. But Denzel Washington McKenzie, man, what a player. His first touch is sublime and his passes are always on point. You know, when he kicks his dead balls, man, it's something to marvel at. Whenever he takes a corner kick, whenever he takes an angular free kick, you know, he gets it on point every single time, and it must be so mouth-watering as a Mona defender or tall central midfielder. You know, the likes of Itis, the likes of Nosy, the likes of Dovey. You know, even Akim Bernard, we see sometimes he comes forward to get his head on the ball sometimes. To have a player the likes of Denzel Washington, Mackenzie, or Ted, or a man of many names and a man of many gifts. Beautiful player.
I am just, in awe when I watch his play. His touches are so good, and I have him in my team just because of his quality. I feel like the quality that he possesses, just 15 years old.
Oh my God.
Not a big guy, but for 15 years old, he is far along the way in the maturity process. And even his football IQ is so high. He's really a player that I really like, and I couldn't do without him in that midfield. When I was picking this team, I was just thinking about how a team would play or how I would play. So my style of play went into picking this team. I understand the quarterfinal run and all of that, but I guess I gave a lot of importance to just the quality of the players that I selected. And I how I like to watch football. Yes, I understand playing with a 6-8 and a 10, but I like when I have two 10s, and I couldn't leave out Samuel Shakes, and I had to have a 10. I feel like if I wanted a 10 in this team, Denzel Washington Mackenzie is the best 10 that I've seen. Obviously, his contribution to Mona High School, most of his contributions to Mona High School came in the early stages of the competition in terms of the first round. But even against Kingston College, what he was doing with that football, it was just so good to watch. It was so fun to watch. So this is a player that I must say, really, really like him. One of my favorite players in the Manning Cup this year for sure.
Yeah, as I said, I know that a lot of the players watch the show at Sports TV. A lot of them tune in to see what's going on, and I just decided that I would have to put together the best amalgamation in the best way possible to put in a football.
Find a way to get them in a team. I understand it.
Yeah, of 18 players, and I think Bernard, Blake, Mitchell, Byam, Shakes, Wilson, Thomas, Pinnock, Richards, Makwan, Brian Burkett, Gooden, Davidson, Mackenzie, Blake, Gibbs, and Satchel might just be like the best 18.
Yeah.
You left out Makwan Aldrich. That's probably the biggest bone I have to pick. Wilson's another one that you absolutely left out as well. Those two have been so good all season, and those two have been especially good in the quarterfinals. Walk me through those.
The thing is, as I said, picking this team, I thought about the quality that I wanted to have in the team and how I would want to see football played. Obviously, Wilson is an attacking midfielder. I'm picking 18 players. I can't have all attacking midfielders. So I already had Denzel Washington. I feel like I would pick Satchel over him. I also have Romarian Thomas who can play in that midfield.
Satchel is a forward.
Well, I saw him in the midfield against I think Haile Selassie. I have Burkett who can play in the midfield and is a forward. I have Romarian Gibbs. And I also have Blake, Shakes, Denzel Washington. I already have, what would that be, 4 or 5 midfielders in the team. And don't get me wrong, it was a headache. He was definitely in my team. In and around the team, he was probably the 19th player. And you can't go wrong when you think about the pool of these players, bro. They're all good players. And whoever you choose to go with, I don't think anybody should feel like they got snubbed. But
the Makwan Aldrich is an absurd omission.
No, I understand you put it.
I
understand. It's not even a matter
any
of
team. Makwan Aldrich has to be in the best 18 in the Manning Cup. Regardless of how a team plays, regardless of the formation, McDonald just has to be in that.
I understand what you're saying, especially if you're going to put a lot of emphasis on the quarters. But again, I'm just thinking about the players that I've seen and I've been impressed with. Their teams are doing well.
What about Akim Bernard? He was having a poor start to the season, made a few mistakes, and he really started to shine in the second round. So
not every explanation
on that merit,
Not every explanation goes for every player, and the merit that you're saying. Donhue Mitchell he featured in what? 2 games in the quarterfinal round, losing one by 4 goals conceded, missing 1 goal,
he was still one of the most solid players on the field. In addition to the fact that he's the best defender in the Manning Cup. In addition to the fact that he had an outstanding first round. That's what I'm saying. Marko Aldrich, best player in the one of the best players in the Manning Cup, and had an outstanding second round. Had a relatively slow first round. Daniel Mitchell had 2. Hakeem Bernard had 2. So that's what I'm saying. Players that you included had 2 as well. Outstanding player and outstanding player in the first round, not so much in the second round. I'm saying based on the quality that Marko Aldrich possesses, based on the fact that he absolutely licked up when it really mattered. I understand your take on Wilson. You do disagree with it, but I just can't fathom Marko Aldrich being omitted from.
I understand. Marko Aldrich in the second again. Any of the best 20-25 players in the Manning Cup, I don't think there is a snub in there. I just feel like any player.
I think he's a top 10 player, probably in top 5.
I understand the take. I'm not even challenging it. I just feel like Kishan Gordon and who would offer
not
more
comparable to Marko Aldrich.
I hear you.
In any position on the field.
Okay. I'm saying Kishan Gordon and what he would offer to my team as a winger. I don't love Marko Aldrich as a winger in this JC team. And I was thinking about who were the most deadly wingers that I could have. Obviously, I wanted to go with Whisper on the wing because what I see from him on the wing is just special. But I don't have a star number 9, so I have to go with Whisper as my number 9. And Kishan Gordon, I feel like as a winger, is up there for me over Marko Aldrich as a winger, as an overall player and probably a midfielder. I would have Marko Aldrich all day.
Still don't think Kishan Gordon is a better winger than Marko Aldrich. Marko Aldrich has been playing wing for the majority of the season. He's statistically better than Kishan Gordon, and he's racked up more man of the match awards, so on and so forth. So I think even in the first one when he was his subpar self, as I said, people, I have to stand up for Marko Aldrich. This one is.
No, Marko Aldrich is a really, really good player, and obviously he was in consideration for my team. It's fine. We can disagree, bro.
Can't compare.
It's fine.
People, tell me in the comment section. You might compare Mona's number 7, Kishan Gordon, to Jamaica College number 11, Marko Aldrich.
Hey,
we will call him out on that one.
No, it's fine. We can disagree, bro. That's just how I would have my team line up. That's how I'd have my team play. I respect your team and the players that you have. I disagree with some of them, but no need to challenge. They are all good players. They're really all good players, and any of them in a team would be the best team in the Manning Cup. So I love it. I love all of it. People, tell me, what do you think about our teams? What do you think about my team and Jomar's team? Who would you have in any of our teams? Who would you take out? Who are the best players so far in the Manning Cup? Who are the best players left? And the good thing is, bro, we'll see a lot of these players matching up against each other. We'll see Marko Aldrich versus Kishan Gordon in the semi-finals. I will see who that. So a lot of, again, these are just all quality players, man. I don't look at this team and think bad player there, bad player here. They're just all good players for me.
Go with your team one last time.
Hakeem Bernard in goal, Kimani Reese at right back, Donhue Mitchell at centre back alongside Romain Blake, Richard Livingston as my left back, Samuel Shake, Saviola Blake, and Denzel Washington is my midfield trio. Zane Pinnock, Whisper Richards, and Kishan Gordon from Mona is my trio of attackers. On the bench, I have Rasika Rose from JC, Blaine by Xavier Davidson, Shaquan Satchwell, Brian Burkett, Nashardo Gibbs, and Romarian Thomas.
Yeah, people, and I went with a 3-3-4 formation, having Hakeem Bernard in goal, Romain Blake, Donhue Mitchell, and Blaine Byam as my 3 central defenders, Samuel Shakes, Kevon Wilson, and Romarian Thomas as my three midfielders, and Zane Pinnock, Dujan Richards, Marko Aldrich, Brian Burkett as my 4 forwards, all interchangeable, all can play in whichever one of the forward spots you want them to play. And on the bench, Rasika Rose, Jamaica College goalkeeper, Xavier Gooden, Xavier Davidson, Denzel Washington, Mackenzie Saviola Blake, Nashardo Gibbs, and Saquon Satchel, and the Kingston College ringback Reese as my most honorable mention. Barely missed out.
Here we go, people. Let us know your thoughts on this video in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video also, if you like us, obviously, and subscribe to This or That Sports TV. One more thing you have to do:
share the video to at least 10 people, but ensure to get us 6 subscribers, because if each and every one of you guys can get us 6 subscribers, you know how many subscribers that get us by the end of the day?
Here you have it for now. This was This or That Sports TV.
And we're out.
Yes, sir.